Hello YouTube, this is DasGregor and welcome back to another Linux. This would be a first impression, I think. First off, I hope I don't scare you, but oh my goodness, my head feels about 10 pounds lighter. I did trim just a bit and it does feel a little different. I keep reaching down here to stroke, and it's way up here now. And enough of that. Hopefully I don't scare you off. Like I've said many times, I've been told I've got a face for radio, and I accept that. Today we are looking at MX-14. MX-14 is a derivative of Mepis and antiX, and they kind of combine a little bit of both worlds into a very good lightweight distribution that is around 700 megs that can fit onto a CD very easily, yet has all the good features and abilities that an OS needs to have. Been using it for the last week or so and have not run into very many problems. Most everything has been very smooth. I was able to install a simple screen recorder. I was able to get GUVC video running. I was able to play around with it. It shuts down very quickly. It installed very nicely. There are a lot of good applications that this version of Linux comes with, and VLC, Clementine to name a few. It is running off of XFCE on a customized look and feel. Instead of having your toolbar at the top or your toolbar at the bottom, it is on the side, as you will see over here. And it pretty much has just been rotated, but it still gives it a uniqueness that's nice. I always like to see developers take ownership of their look and feel and try to create a brand for the Linux distribution. MX-14 does a good job of this. As I said, this is XFCE 4.10, and you can right click on anywhere on the desktop here and you can see all of your options right away, and your applications as well that you can get into. We will briefly go through that. I don't like to always go through the menu, but just to let you see a few things here in accessories, you're going to notice that your typical items for XFCE are there. If we move on down to education, it has, of course, LibreOffice Math, which means that it has the whole LibreOffice suite, has a few games to play with, not many, but it does have the ability to install as much as you like, and that is the great feature of Linux, in that you can install whatever you like. Whether it comes with a little bit or a lot, that's up to you. If you look in graphics here, you will notice that there are a few things here for ebooks and ImageMagick, LibreOffice Draw. You will, however, not see the GIMP, but that is always something you can put on afterwards. For Internet, I believe I installed Chromium to try it out. It does come with Iceweasel, which is a derivative of Firefox. And you will also see that there is a BitTorrent client, an IRC client, etc. that's available. Under the multimedia, Clementine, as I mentioned before, VLC Viewer, and I did install the Netflix desktop just to see how easy it would be to install it, try it out, and if it just runs out of the box with a couple quick, simple clicks of a button, or did I run into all kinds of problems. Now, it worked well. It worked very well. Had no complaints. I like that it was able to run so easily, and I will show you in just a little bit how you can do that. If we move on to Office, you'll see all the Office LibreOffice suite that's there, and of course here is your system area where you have the Synaptic Package Manager, which allows you to install pretty much any piece of package or Linux package you would want, as well as a lot of other things. Now, if we go up here, you will notice these items that say MX. There is an MX boot repair, very handy if you screw up the booting of your system. There is also a check for packages, a codecs installer, so that you can go ahead and get down all the different types of codecs to run. There is nothing worse than installing a Linux distribution. I'm going to move some stuff over here. There's nothing worse than installing a Linux distribution that you get and then all of a sudden you can't do anything with. I mean, what good is it to install something that just doesn't work? One of my biggest complaints in the early days was when you would install something like Red Hat, and then you'd have to install anywhere from you have to download anywhere from 700 to a gig of applications just to make it useful. Now that's just ridiculous to me. But they make it handy in this method that you can easily go into the MX codecs installer, install them, and get them running. They have a wonderful flash manager. Now there are those that are anti-flash, and there are those that are pro-flash. There are those that say, and there are those that say, where's HTML5? But it is nice that they give you an option that you can install the default. You can install a better version. You can take it off very easily if you don't want it at all. Now, this MX package installer, that's what I was talking about. The MX package installer, and I'll bring it up here. We move this over just a wee bit. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, I'll put my password in and see if we can get that moved over. There we go. Now this is a little handy thing that I've seen in antiX as well. I think this probably came over from antiX. And you will notice that if we open up some of these, there are some known applications, I guess you might say, that you don't have to sift through synaptics to get to and look for, that you may or may not want. For instance, in the audio. Now in the video section, that is where I found the Netflix player. I just had to check mark it there and tell it to install, and it went ahead and downloaded everything I needed. I think I also downloaded and installed OpenShot this way as well. What this pretty much does is just install some Office products and other applications that you can choose through this menu that have been definitely set up to work well in MX-14. Very handy to look at, very handy to use. You will also notice if we go into graphics, you're probably going to find the GIMP in there, the full version of it, the basic version. Now you say, as I move on to the next topic here, I don't like XFCE. Where's my GNOME? Where's my KDE? I want to look for that. Well, plain and simple here, if we look at Window Manager, you will see that you have some options to look at. We've got Mate, LXDE, KDE Lite and Standard, IceWM, and GNOME Ultra. So if you are interested in those type of window managers and you're not happy with XFCE, you can very easily come in here and choose your window flavor, and it will go ahead and download and set everything up for you. And then once you reboot, you can get into your new network or your new desktop environment and have everything there. Now the one really nice feature about settings like this are you can start off with something that's going to work really well on, say, a lightweight computer or an older piece of hardware. And the good thing about that is that when it first lays down, you've got everything you need to work on that. Now, say you want to keep some bit of uniformity, but you've got some really good systems that can handle a lot more. Well, this system, for instance, has a Core i7 processor. It doesn't need something that's made for an older machine, but you can utilize this same look and feel and be able to customize and put on much more for what the systems can handle. And that is a really great feature to be able to have in one distribution. Instead of stating that, oh, I use distribution blah for, say, my older systems, but because my newer systems are much stronger, I can use system blah A. And this way you can choose one distribution that you can become familiar with and stick with it no matter what your hardware needs are. A very useful tool and ability to have. Now, I have always been a real big fan of antiX. I have used it on a lot of my older systems, and I like the way MX-14 here has taken antiX and Mepis and put them together using XFCE instead of OpenBox. I sometimes have some issues with how, in my lack of understanding of OpenBox, how it can be a little bit cumbersome trying to configure and work with, but I've always been really happy with how antiX has run in the background. And there goes my phone here. I thought I'd muted everything except that. Oh well. Pretty much that's all I really wanted to say though, and if you're looking for something that you need flexibility with and you want to configure easily, that seems to be pretty stable. This is running off of Debian 7 along with, as I said, I think the third time, XFCE 4.10 and utilizing Mepis and antiX. So if it's morning, evening, noon, or night, whatever you're having, I hope you enjoy it. Don't let the lack of beard scare you. It will grow back if I don't shave and keep it trimmed up a little bit. But hope you guys have a great weekend, or whenever you're watching this. Chat with you later. Thanks for your comments. I will be trying to get back to some of those comments from the last couple of videos. It has been a very hectic, long week for me. Next week's not looking any better. I have probably about 500 miles of travel, if not more, for next week that I will be doing. But we will still be seeing what we can do to keep on top of what's going on in Linux. So thanks for watching. We'll chat with you later. Goodbye, everybody.